Welcome back to the Plant Power Podcast. My name is Ian Beckles. Hopefully everybody had a wonderful week, and hopefully you got a chance to get out there and smoke something delicious. I know I did. So, it was a wonderful week. I had a great excursion to Mount Dora. We went over there to the grow house, and my boy, Mr. Tom Ponzo, next to me right here. We're going to talk about that in a second. But first, I want to give some love. Goes out to CuraLeaf, the title sponsor. I remember when I first started doing these podcasts/webcasts, I used to say there's this many CuraLeafs or that many CuraLeafs. I don't know how many CuraLeafs are out there anymore because it grows every single day, and there seems to be a CuraLeaf at every stone throw in the Tampa Bay area. So if you're in a Tampa Bay area that doesn't have a CuraLeaf, you're probably somewhere that doesn't have reception, so I can't really help you. So there's CuraLeafs just about everywhere in the Tampa Bay area. Just Google CuraLeaf, and they're literally everywhere. Seriously. So they take good care of me. I take good care of my people, and very soon we're hoping any day now they're going to have a special dignitary code that you're going to be able to kind of tell them I want a dignitary discount, and you're going to get a discount over and above all the discounts that you get there anyways, which are usually 40 and 50% off. So it's really doesn't make sense to not go there. Seriously, all this stuff is wonderful. So, one love to them, and also here at the Dignitary Tea and Kava House, 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard. We have a lot of things happening here all the darn time, especially on Friday when we have our doctor who's in the house, the Cannabis Doc. You can go to cannabisdocgroup.com, but right here on Friday, we have a doctor right here in our building, and every Friday he comes in here, so you can go to cannabisdocgroup.com, or you can give them a call. You got to give them a call, and you got to make sure you get the appointment all taken care of there first. It's 813-501-4777, 813-501-4777. Get your appointments and get there and get your medical marijuana card, because it doesn't make sense to not have it anymore. Really, seriously. Talk to anybody that has your medical marijuana card, and I love to still talk to people that don't have it, and to think that they're still getting great deals by paying $300 for an ounce of whatever the hell they get off the street. Well, science is involved with this whole thing, okay? And when you get it done scientifically, which they do at the dispensary, you know you're not going to have stuff like fentanyl in your stuff, right? I don't think anybody wants too much fentanyl. And there's a lot of that going on out there. So if there's not enough stories out there of fentanyl for you not to get your medical marijuana card, I really don't know what's going on in your world. So anyways, I told you about the excursion that we had to Mount Dora, to the grow house over there, and I brought my trusty side kick right here, Mr. Tom Ponzo, and we did the little drive over there. How are you doing, brother? Everything good?
I'm doing good, doing good.
You got your green bandana on.
I'm all green today, man.
I love it.
The turquoise shorts.
Yeah,
too.
it's a lot of different greens going on.
Yeah,
here.
green sneakers too.
Beautiful thing.
Green socks. I'm green today, totally green.
That's beautiful. So how did you think the trip was, the actual drive to Mount Dora?
The drive to Mount Dora from here, not bad. You're a crazy driver, Ian.
I'm a crazy driver?
You're a crazy driver.
Am I?
You're a crazy driver.
Okay.
Yeah, crazy driver.
All right. Yeah. I don't think anybody's ever called me a crazy driver before.
I was holding on for dear life.
Yeah. I think I'm an efficient driver.
You are efficient.
Okay.
We did get there in a good amount of time. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful morning when we drove there. It was just
it was very nice.
Nice trip, nice roads, nice towns along the way. It was a really, really fun trip.
We were in the sticks for a little bit, though.
Yes, we were.
Like Mount Dora's in the sticks.
No question.
No doubt. Now, what did you expect before you got there? I had something in my mind. Like I had somebody opening up a room, and it was like this big, gigantic room of weed, and it was like one big room, and that was about it.
That's what I thought too. I thought
it was so not that.
I thought there were a bunch of smaller houses, and each house had its own strain or group of strains, like an indica, sativa, hybrid, things like that. I did not expect what I saw on that day.
Yeah, at Mount Dora, you went there and you roll up and they'll say, well, this is frosted motor breath. And you open it up, and that's one of my favorite strains, frosted motor breath. And you roll up in the whole room, which is about, we'll say about half a football field.
About that. You would think it was about 50,
half a football
50 yards by 50 yards almost.
And the place is as efficient as can be, because all the partitions they the spacing keeps on moving, so there's only 4 feet of wasted space in the whole room.
That's correct.
So you can go down the aisle. So
and each row had a roll thing, and it moved every single row back,
very
so they
efficient,
could treat every row of plants that was there.
So an unbelievable amount of trees. So that's all frosted motor breath there. Then you go over there, and here's Pai Gow, and here's the other one, here's the other one. And the one amazing thing was that every room seemed to smell a little bit different.
Yep.
And had a different feel to it. But
it's like you walk down the hall and you open another door and here's another strain.
There's another strain, yeah. The other thing is, like, I didn't imagine something to be that much. It was a lot. Like I was saying, we were kind of led into a couple of rooms here and there. I like to view it from up top. Like, from a drone.
Right.
I think it's bigger than we think it is.
I believe it is.
I think it's huge back there.
What did they say? They had 49 rooms?
49
I think
of
50
these
to
rooms.
round it
up, yeah.
Yeah.
50 rooms of about a half a football field of just growing weed.
At different stages of growth. There was some that had stopped growth that they actually put out in the middle to trim and take care of before they cured it.
No doubt.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, it was good to see, and you're somebody that grew back in the day, correct? I've never really grown, okay? I've never really been grown in any aspect of it. I don't know anything about it. So what did you learn about, the whole process of growing, since you went through it?
Well, what I learned was that they use the same type of light that I used for my grow. It's called high pressure sodium. Now, I know we're not allowed to grow here in Florida. Allegedly. But that's the best possible light. It sends out the right frequency of ultraviolet. It also has a certain heat thing, so you need to keep the top of the plant a certain distance away from the light source. And the rooms that we saw, those that had the grow lights all over the place with fans and things like that, wow, that was just unbelievable. The electric bills they must rack up are
we were talking
tremendous.
about it. I don't know if the electric bill can't be $1 million. I don't know. I think it's more than $1 million a month. I'm telling you it is. It's more than $1 million a month.
Yeah,
because those lights do not go off.
Well, they do. They have to. Go off? They have to time them at a certain scale. Like you have to do it 12-12, so to mimic the sunlight of a day. So they may actually grow it a little bit more, like 14 to 16 hours, in an attempt to get the initial grow up.
Perfect.
And then they start cutting down the sunlight hours to allow the plant to flower.
Well, see with all the things that I learned, I didn't know anything about that, and now I'm learning a little bit something about that now. Mr. Ponzo every week was hopefully going to break down a strain, and I handed you a pre-roll from CuraLeaf, and it was
perfect.
Planet of the Grapes. How did it turn out for you?
Planet of the Grapes, my goodness. I came in here, this was what, yesterday morning or maybe the day before, Monday, and I had suffered a lower back injury earlier while I was doing a lot of heavy lifting here, because there are a lot of changes going on here at Dignitary Cafe. And I took some of this and I noticed that it definitely helped with the minor pain that I was dealing with. And I did some research on the strain. It is a hybrid strain, and the key terpene is myrcene, M-Y-R-C-E-N-E, and in studies, myrcene, which is a very popular terpene for a lot of the strains, myrcene has been researched, and it's used as an anti-inflammatory in some cases. Research isn't conclusive, but I found in my case it definitely helped. Now, the THC content was low, but I had some food and some other things, so I didn't really feel a high. I took some more this morning without anything in my stomach, and I was very happy for quite a while. It was very nice. It relieved the pain, and it made me feel calm, and it gave me some energy, motivation to do things, but it also allowed me to be relaxed as well.
There you go. Now, you just brought up terpenes, okay? I hear the word terpenes all the time. I don't know a darn thing about terpenes. I really don't. You said myrcene. Never heard that before in my life. So people say sometimes that the terpenes are more important than the percentage, right?
Yes.
So if myrcene is good for anti-inflammatory, am I supposed to look around for other strains with myrcene, or what are you looking for?
Sure, that's what I do. I would look for things like that, and I try to look up a little bit more on the terpenes. I'm still learning as we go through this process.
How many different terpenes do you know of?
Oh my gosh, I looked up.
I'm sure there's a lot of them.
There are a ton of them.
That's the problem,
There are so many that you can pick and choose from, and each one, through research and study, scientific study, helps with certain things. Some help with depression, some help with motor, your motor, and helping helping loosen yourself up, and anti-inflammatory, antidepressant, just so many different things that each terpene brings to the table for whatever strain you choose. But I think it might be a good idea, if you're looking to shop in the future, to check out the terpenes in some of these strains in order to help you with your specific issue.
And how does a habanero like myself figure out what kind of terpene? Can I just Google that strain and terpenes and it's going to come up?
Yes,
because
exactly.
That's the only way, because you don't really go to I know percentage is the most important thing. You know, on the description, does usually have the terpenes on there?
Not as far as
That's
I know.
the thing. I haven't really seen that too often.
I haven't seen that either. But what you can do is you can go to a site called Leafly, leafly.com, and they have descriptions of strains, terpenes, marijuana laws in every state. It also links you to shopping in your area. If you're a medical patient, you can go to leafly.com and check out all the areas that sell that particular strain that you're looking up. Yeah.
Now, once again, it's all about educating ourselves. You know what I'm saying? It's we can give you some of this education, but you got to go out there and figure out what's best for you. And just like anything else in the world, you know, nobody's holding you back. There's a lot of education out there. Everybody has a phone. Everybody has Google on their phone, and everybody has access. Now, real quick, and my man Brandon's going to come out a little bit. We're going to definitely talk about the change in regulations that were passed by the government. What's what did you come up with? And it doesn't help, does it?
Not really. If you're someone who likes to smoke a lot of flower, you're limited to 2.5 ounces every 35 days.
And what was it before? Did it change from before?
It was basically unlimited. You can take as much as you wanted, but now they put a cap on that particular limit. And it's basically, they tried to break it down into a daily dose amount. So marijuana in a form for smoking, 2.025 grams over that 35-day period.
Okay.
Now there's a rollover. So what they do is if you're just starting your prescription, and you wait a week or two before you buy flour, it starts on that very first day. Those 35 days start on that first day.
Okay.
So I purchased about an ounce in the last 2 weeks, an ounce of flour in the last 2 weeks. And I just started a new prescription for my flour, and that amount was subtracted and rolled over. So I have 1.5 ounces left to use for the next 35 days.
Okay. But it wasn't unlimited before.
No,
it was never unlimited.
No. But each type of route of administration has different limits. Like for edibles, a daily dose amount is 60 milligrams a day.
The thing is what I'm trying to come across is anytime the government puts their hands on something, it never is to benefit the consumers.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It always seems to, it's always something that's against it. You see what I'm saying? It's always to limit and take away, and there's just no studies out there to say
gets their hands in things.
But it's so silly. Because what's going to happen if somebody smokes more weed than that? What are they going to do? They're going to get it legally. Okay, so it's silly. We're not trying to we're not getting anything accomplished here. All right, let's not go anywhere. I'm going to come back, and my guy Brandon from CuraLeaf is going to roll back up in here. He got a promotion last time, so he's a big wig now. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back on the other end. This is a Plant Power Podcast. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Plant Power Podcast, and we did have that field trip. Mr. Ponzo and myself had a wonderful time over there at Mount Dora, and it was because of this young man we're about to bring in here, and we're actually, during the break, we were talking about some other excursions that we're trying to talk about. He's trying to talk me into, or I'm trying to talk him into, I'm not sure which one, but going to bring in my man Brandon from CuraLeaf here. How you doing, brother? How's life treating you?
I'm fantastic.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
Thank you for hooking up that Mount Dora. That was an experience.
It's an experience that you had to experience.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm glad that I could help you do it, man, really.
Well, the thing is, I mean, how many times have you been there?
I've been to Dora now 100 times.
Okay, 100 times.
Yeah.
Now, you've heard me talk about it a little bit during the show, and it's hard to, we can explain something, but it's hard to envision something. And I've been there, and it's still hard for me to envision how big it really is.
Yeah.
Like, if you put a drone above it, like, how big is the whole complex? I mean, like, how many acres is it on? Do you know?
No, I mean, we could probably bust on Google Maps, but it's several 100,000 feet. square feet when you put it all together. And I mean, that's not including the working space and like all that. You've seen like the result of years and years of a lot of people's hard work. When I first went there, it was nothing like that. It was like the Wild West, wild little place. You talk about organization.
Okay,
That's all from like the work of all those people that you saw there, man. Which I think is the coolest part, that you noticed that.
Well, that's the first thing I walked in, and there wasn't a lot of people working because it was the weekend. But everything seemed so in place and practical and efficient. It just seems like somebody put a lot of thought into it's evolution, I guess. You know what I mean? I've never seen it before, and I probably should have seen it 20 years ago. It's like DJing 20 years ago as opposed to DJing today. You know what I mean? But you guys you have it efficient, man. It's amazing. What a well-oiled machine in there.
I can't wait to take this podcast and send it to everybody out there.
Okay, good.
And thank all of you guys. I get to sit here and have you say that, but I mean, that means so much, because that's the lifeblood of what we do. It's the base of everything that we do, and I think like CuraLeaf does a fantastic job of like bringing the retail end and that grow end together, just like getting you out there, and like I think we have to do it during the week, like on a harvest day the next time we go out that way, because then you can meet some of the people in person and be even better.
I would love to. You're talking about getting me to Miami too. And what do they have? What's going on in Miami?
So Miami is home to CuraLeaf's Florida, or the Southeast CuraLeaf's headquarters. So corporate office down there, which Marty, hello, nice to see you. Ibis, shout out, they're great. They take care of everybody. But there's also the processing and another small grow, and it's the grow where CuraLeaf started at in Florida. And the processing lab grew from a very small facility into something that's amazing to see now. And you talk about organization. You talk about professionalism. Like, it's a wonderful thing to see, even down to the break room. The break room in Homestead is as big as the Dignitary is, which is really cool. And they've got that going on. And it's like CuraLeaf putting the employees first, which is why I think we're seeing all these positive things.
Absolutely. Well, it's not a small business. It's not a very small business.
Anymore,
No, not at all. And
it's a very big small business.
And good for you guys. Now, there was some big things that happened in the news pretty much here not too long ago, and it seemed like they kind of snuck it in. It just kind of happened, and I was like, "Wow, what's going on?" I never knew that was up for. But what exactly happened? What limitations were put on us just now? I mean, it kind of happened like so abruptly that I don't think anybody really explained it to anybody.
Yeah, and I'm glad it couldn't have worked out better today, because we've been having a lot of conversations about this. I am more informed than most people, and like I didn't even know my compliance partner, Britt. She reached out to me just the other day and like sent this. Wow. They put limits on everything, like so daily caps on everything that you can have. So you can go on there and find all the numbers and just times it by 70, which the term for is each of the recs that they give out, and like that's what they say you're going to have, which makes it especially hard for edibles, which makes it especially hard for concentrates and vapes, things like that, because you run out of them. There's already a cap that they put on flour, which isn't fair. I think if I may go on for a second, what I think is important, man, is like they're treating cannabis like any other pharmaceutical medicine. We've all been to the pharmacy, and when you go, you can't buy 1 pill, 2 pills, 5 pills. Like, how convenient would that be for someone that doesn't have a lot of money? Another conversation to have. But it's something dispensaries has always provided. It's like, and it's part economical, it's part compassionate, it's part, just being a kind person. That's the culture of cannabis. I don't know you that well. I feel welcome. You make me feel welcome. You introduce me to people. It's how we are. And what they're trying to do is limit that, and even more. So 60 milligrams, I'm off the top of my head, for a daily limit for an edible, that's not enough.
Come on.
And there is a bright side, though. I never come with bad news. Like, I have connections. I've been in this industry for a little bit.
That's good. We can't wait to hear it.
Here's why you got to go on your website, the official website of the OMMU, right? Because you go on there, you log into your thing, and the very first page when you log in, and as a patient, we all have one, we've made it, and we all the time ask the dispensaries to look it up. That should be on us as patients. You need to go there, because right underneath there's a neat little section that says an exemption. And what you're going to be able to do is reach out to your physician and ask for an exemption for this clause. And I'm hoping, against hope, that it's going to be just like any of the other things they've done, where the doctors and their compassion and their wisdom and their love of the plant will make that a not so hard process to do. Now, an interesting question, the very first thing I thought, which I think this is really cool, if I can get an exemption for these limits that they put on, whatever, does that mean now I can get an exemption for the limit that they put on my flower consumption? So, as weird as it is, gang, I think this brought up a really interesting question, and I don't know everybody that's on there that makes the rules. I really don't, and I think everybody's trying to do their best, but I really think it would be interesting to have somebody, maybe a couple people, that were patients, that were consumers, that did grow cannabis, that knew what was going on, to help have awesome conversations like this, so we could come to an understanding, do what's right for guests, and to stop abuse, which I totally agree with, right? Nobody wants someone abusing the system, but we don't want to abuse patients.
But I don't think cannabis is any different than any other category in our world. The people that are making rules for all these categories usually don't know anything about the categories. I mean, it doesn't matter what we're talking about. So, to say that you only get 2.5 a month, and then in breaking it down per day, which you can't get that much per day, is nonsensical. Like you said, I mean, if you give somebody a bunch of pills, there's a chance he's going to grab a handful of pills and take them.
Yeah.
But you can only smoke so much weed.
It doesn't make any sense.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's so there can't be weed smokers on the board. It can't be. Somebody, I would say, whoa, wait a second, what? That doesn't. You're not. What are you trying to restrict here?
It's just. I think it's just a general misunderstanding and a lack of communication. And what we can do is use our voice and go to that site and voice your frustration. I know people get frustrated at the dispensaries. I was upset. I was there today.
Sure.
Get a little blood starts pumping. Get a little upset.
Sure.
But the right thing to do is to contact them. Let them know. Voice. That's why we're here. That's one of the greatest places to be, because we have that right.
So you're saying them is who? Who's
is
them?
The state of Florida, the Office of Medical Marijuana Use.
And how does somebody get there?
You just go to their website. You can Google OMMU,
okay,
and just go right to their website. On the very front of it, it's very easy to navigate. They're very friendly. They're very helpful. But I mean, people don't know what they don't know. Don't agree with any of it. Never agree with them. All about you do you, because I know you and I are two very different people, physically, and what we need in life in general, right?
Facts.
I mean, that's where cannabis is, and I think the pharmaceuticals in general could take a thing from cannabis and maybe change the way they look at it, not force rules that don't make sense on our industry.
Well, listen, I'm one of the very few people in the media who talks about cannabis openly.
I appreciate you.
And, I will talk about it on my social media. I don't really talk about a lot of stuff that's controversial on my social media, because I don't really think that cannabis is controversial. I don't, okay? But when I posted me smelling, the plant on my social media, 98% of it was positive, but there was one person, there's always one cat, talk about, so now you're pushing drugs. So I'm just, I was going to say something back, and I said, there's nothing I can say to that person. There's nothing I can say to that person to make him change his mindset. If still in 2023, you're talking about, you're still pushing drugs. That's still the mentality of a lot of people.
I mean, that's why we have people like you to be out here to help push that narrative. And I just always, tell people, and I've been in that situation a million times, I say, stay higher, man. Just stay higher, because you don't need to be in that situation.
Exactly. And a lot of people that are, those people that are against it still, they're going right to the bar and they're acting a fool and they're doing crazy stuff. And, I own a kava bar, and we don't want people coming in here that have been drinking. We don't want that, it just kind of, it upsets the apple cart, so it's good vibes in here, man. Nobody ever acts crazy. Nobody's raising their voice in here. Nobody's acting a fool.
It's one of my,
for a little bit.
It's one of my favorite places to stop in, because now every time we get to know people more and more, but it's always chill in here. It's a great place to go. It's the exact opposite vibe of a bar. And
we haven't had a stabbing in a couple weeks.
Hey,
you know what I mean? It's going well.
Things are going great.
That's a joke, everybody. It's a joke. It's been at least a month.
It's been at least a month.
No, you know what I mean? No, we have a nice spot over here at Dignitary Tea Kava House, and it's a nice feel, and we have the outdoor lounge. We have people smoking outside probably as we speak right now. And we need some more people in the area. I've heard of a few other people in the area that are becoming marijuana friendly.
Oh.
Okay. Have you heard more of that happening in the area? Have you heard a little bit more of that?
I can just say in general, the friendliness towards cannabis use, in the last 4 years, it just keeps going up and up and up. But
every second. I
would love to hear some whispers or some bird tweets, because I love giving people nudges and moving them along.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man.
So.
Yeah, but I swear to you, there's just you don't feel a lot of resistance anymore, though.
I know.
There's just not much. I think the resistance sounds stupid. You know, like if you're in a room and when there's a person that's against marijuana, if I'm in the room, they're gonna sound stupid.
You almost in the background hear a.
You're like, womp womp.
Yeah. I think there's bigger concerns in the world, man, and I think people have just seen That's why when something like this happens, when a rule limiting it, and it's that old mentality comes, I think that's why it shocks us, man.
Yeah, I guess.
Because you think you're so for it, and then you're like, oh, we're not there, darn it.
I know.
So keep it on fighting, that's all we can do.
Yeah, listen.
Keep on being good.
They want to do stuff like ban kratom, like a tea, like this, look at this. My goodness. So you guys are in trouble, I got some kratom. You better ban that. Make sure you ban it. It's tea, this, If you drink a whole jug of it, nothing would happen, but make sure you ban that, though, as you're leaving the bar at happy hour and whatnot. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing. Well, thank you, brother, for everything that you guys do. And we have some other excursions coming up as we go forward.
Oh, yeah.
I see a Miami trip coming.
I do too, and I see some more fun with pics and some more fun with Soch and sharing some of that love with all of you guys, because
and Smokey has to have this cameo before everything goes on.
Hey, buddy.
And we have to work on getting that dignitary strain. We need to get a dignitary strain and the whole lion and everything.
That is so easy to do because we have new strains popping out all the time at Dora now. So you know the guy to talk to, Anthony. Holla
at me, Anthony. Be good. Peace.
Peace.